Time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. Doing right by someone shouldn't hinge on last names or shared DNA. Today in the rLounge, loyalty isn't inherited. Up first, when you finally booked a week off for yourself, only to find out that your sister had other plans involving glue guns, napkin folding, and guilt trips. Am I the a-hole for not giving up my vacation days for my sister's wedding prep? I, 26 female, finally got approved for a full week off from work next month. I've been saving my vacation days forever and planned a trip with my best friend. We booked cheap flights, Airbnb, and I've been so excited because it's literally the first proper vacation I've had since graduating. Here's the issue. My sister is getting married the same month. Her actual wedding day doesn't clash with my trip, but she asked me to give up my vacation so I can help with wedding prep. She wants me there for things like running errands, folding programs, and keeping her calm. Basically unpaid maid of honor duties, even though I'm not the maid of honor. I told her I'd absolutely be there for the rehearsal dinner, the wedding, and anything else important. But I don't want to cancel my whole vacation just to spend a week gluing rhinestones on table cards. She got upset and told me I was choosing a trip over family. And now my mom is guilt-tripping me, saying, "You'll understand when it's your wedding." I love my sister, but I also love not burning myself out. Plus, I already spent money on the trip and honestly, I need this break. She has a whole bridal party, plus family and friends helping out. Why is it all on me? Now I'm being painted as a selfish sister who doesn't care about the most important day of her life. I feel guilty, but also annoyed. So, am I the a-hole for keeping my vacation instead of using it to be my sister's unpaid wedding assistant? Let's see what the community thinks because she asked for it. First comment. You go enjoy your vacation. Tell her she is being entitled. The OP replies, "Thank you. That's exactly how I feel. I just want 1 week to relax without turning into a wedding intern." Next comment says, "Go on your vacation. She's going to have you doing grunt work that's too lowly for her bridal party. Her wedding is her big day and not yours. You don't have to prep for her wedding. That's not your job." The OP replies, "Exactly. That's what I was thinking. I don't mind helping a little, but she basically wants me as free labor. I just want 1 week to breathe without being on wedding duty. Thanks for making me feel less guilty." And one more comment. Not the a-hole. Doesn't she have a bridal party? It doesn't sound like you're part of it. So why do you need to help? Do not give up your vacation for her wedding. Update. 3 days later. Wow, I didn't expect this many responses. Thank you to everyone who reminded me that my PTO is mine and not family property. Reading through the comments honestly helped me feel less guilty. So here's what happened. I talked to my sister again and told her clearly, but nicely, that I'll be there for the rehearsal, the wedding, and anything important that actually needs me, but I'm not canceling my vacation to fold napkins or sit around just in case she needs something. I said I already booked flights, paid for the Airbnb, and I need this break. She got pretty upset at first and said I was ruining the vibe, but I just repeated what a lot of you suggested. I'm not the maid of honor. I'm your guest. I love you, but I also earned this time off. My mom tried to guilt me again, but I reminded her she's literally the mother of the bride, not me. The funny part? When I stood firm, my sister suddenly asked one of her bridesmaids to help more, which is what should have happened in the first place. Turns out I wasn't as essential as she made me think. So the vacation is still on. I'm going to enjoy my week in peace and show up to her wedding refreshed instead of exhausted. And if anyone brings it up again, I'll just smile and say, "Don't worry, I save my energy for the dance floor." Thanks again, everyone. I feel way better knowing I'm not being selfish, just setting boundaries. One more relevant comment. Good for you on standing up for yourself. Followed by the OP's retort, "Thank you. Honestly, it took me a while to stop feeling guilty, but I'm glad I stood my ground. Boundaries are hard with family sometimes, but I feel so much lighter now knowing I got to enjoy both my trip and the wedding." Honestly, you handled this perfectly. You didn't ditch the wedding. You just made it clear you're not going to spend your only week off running errands and folding programs. That's totally fair. You're already paid for your trip, you've been looking forward to it, and you deserve the break. If you'd caved, you'd just end up burnt out and resentful, which wouldn't have helped anyone. Instead, you're going to show up rested and ready to celebrate, which is a way better vibe than being stressed and exhausted. And the fact that she turned to her bridesmaids once you said no just proves she had options the whole time. What would you have done? Let us know in the comments. Up next, when you think your biggest problem is homework and deadlines, but nope, turns out your dog's life is basically on a tightrope thanks to your mom. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom I'd call the cops if you tried to get rid of my dog? I, 17 female, have a dog whom I keep in the house with my 38 female mom and my other family members, dad and older brother. My dog has been sick for a while, and at first, my mom refused to give me any money to take my dog to the vet, saying, I shouldn't have wasted my pocket money, which is non-existent. I don't get money other than on special occasions. I broke my savings pot I personally saved up for a laptop myself to take my dog to the vet. My dog got treatment, and it turns out she was sick. She has medication I have to feed her and has been quite tired as of late. She's been quiet for a week or so. Today when my mom came home, she was being loud, which alarmed my dog and had her barking. I was sleeping when my mom bombarded my phone saying she'd get rid of my dog if I didn't shut her up. My mom has a tendency to leave my dog out and tell me she gave her away until I'm sobbing, and then she tells me she's trying to discipline me. So when I woke up, I took my dog while my mom yelled, and I told her she was insane for even thinking of that, and that I'd call the cops if she let my dog loose again, especially since it was raining. My mom has been giving me the silent treatment, and my dad says I overreacted and that she was just joking, which is making me second guess. Am I the a-hole for saying I'd call the cops? Verdict, not the a-hole. Now let's see what the comments actually say about this. First up, not the a-hole. Hold that dog close. Try really hard to get yourself a job and move away from your abusers as soon as possible. I caution you strongly about calling the cops though, because they may deem your dog to be in an unsafe environment since your mother is the adult in the situation. With regards to the health and welfare of your dog, there are payment plans you can get at most vet hospitals. So this is why it's massively important for you to try at least get yourself a weekend job to help with that. You're probably on the struggle right now because you're juggling school among other things, which is totally understandable. And I realize that today's current financial landscape doesn't make it easy for a young person to leave home at 18 and immediately find a place to live. My advice to you is either trying to move in with another family member, if any of them are trustworthy, or get 2 or 3 friends together and rent share. But whatever you do, you need to get away from these child abusers and animal abusers. Best of luck, and please keep us updated. The OP replies, I've been looking into moving out after I graduate and moving in with a friend in a different country for university. Thankfully, my grades are pretty high, have a good amount of volunteer hours, and play sports for my school, so I have a good chance at a scholarship as well. But even if I don't get a scholarship, I do plan to move out and save up until I can get higher education. I've been cautious with my dog as well, keeping her close by and having her sleep with me. The commenter says back, these are all fantastic things, and I honestly wish you the best of luck with it all. Are you able to take Pupper with you when you go abroad? The OP replies, yes, of course. I've looked into that as well, and I'm able to take her. My friend also has a dog, so they'll be play buddies too. The OP also explains how they got the dog. I got my pup back in 2018 when she was only a few months old. Back when I was around 11 or 12. I'm not sure. But back then, I had spoken to my parents and they both agreed to let me get a pup on one condition, that I had to take her on walks and brush her fur. I agreed to the terms and got my pup while no one around the house really helped. I didn't expect any help as I personally agreed to having my own pup and taking care of her. So I basically raised my pup myself. My parents or siblings were never really involved in taking care of her, other than some days like when I was sick or on the school trip, and even then my brother took care of her, not my mom. So I don't see how she could be a burden to my mom other than the occasional barking. She's very well behaved. My sweet girl, May 31, 2024. She was on the way to her grooming appointment. Pet tax. The OPO says, she's a Pomeranian fox face. Your mom sounds exhausting. That's not a joke, that's just cruel. Threatening to get rid of your dog, especially after you've been the only one taking care of her, is messed up. You weren't overreacting at all. If anything, you kept it way calmer than most people would. And your dad brushing it off as just joking? It's not funny. It's not harmless. And you don't have to second guess yourself just because he doesn't want to deal with it. You did the right thing standing up for your dog. Keep doing what you're doing, protecting her, focusing on your grades, and planning your way out. Once you're out of the house, you're going to feel a whole lot lighter. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Up next, where standing on your own 2 feet isn't just independence, it's self-preservation. Am I the a-hole for telling my parents I will not be helping them with their rent September 4th, 2025. 16 months later. I, 18 female, moved out of my parents' house a little while ago as soon as I could. To provide some context, my parents were both emotionally abusive and have wronged me many times in my life, including threatening to get rid of my dog, which I have a whole post on. Since I moved out, I've been working a job and paying rent for an apartment I share with my friend and have had enough money left to save up a bit to go to college in a few years. I'm the youngest in the family, so after I moved out, no one was left at home. Both my siblings moved out as well, so their financial support for my brother paying them rent for his bedroom has been cut off. I'm completely independent and have told my parents multiple times that I want nothing to do with them and even blocked their numbers completely. Earlier this week, my grandmother called me and explained that my parents desperately need money for their rent and asked if I could spare money for my college savings, which I saved up on my own so far, to help them. I outright refused and told my grandmother I would not be helping at all since every penny of my savings is gathered by me working hard and supporting myself. I love my grandmother and told her that if she needed help herself, I was willing to help out, but would not help with my parents. For this entire week, my aunt has been calling me repeatedly saying my parents really needed this and deserved it for raising me. My mom's side of the family threatened to cut me off if I didn't help, which is honestly so petty because I'm only 18 years old. They should be helping instead. I told my friend about it, and she said that I was taking it too far and I should have helped. Now I'm wondering if I'm the a-hole. The community verdict was not the a-hole, but let's find out what they said. First up, they deserve it for raising you. No, that's what is legally required. You have children, you raise them. You don't owe them for doing that. Your aunt and your mom's side are all welcome to contribute to the rent if they are so concerned. You save up for some therapy as well, and good luck. Not the a-hole. Next verdict, not the a-hole. You are doing fantastic. Moved out, saving money for college on your own, cutting off your abusive family. Keep it up. Don't let anyone drag you back into that situation with their petty manipulations. You got this. The OP replies, "Thank you so much. You have no idea how much that means to me. I truly appreciate the kind words from the bottom of my heart." The next person says, "Make sure your parents aren't on your bank account. Have it in a credit union or bank they've never used if possible. Also, check your credit. Make sure they haven't taken out any loans or credit cards in your name. Lock it down." The OP replies, "I will definitely contact my bank in the morning. Everyone seems to be warning me about that." Update. So to start off, yes, I froze my card. I froze it in the morning after I made this post and spoke to my bank about any bills being opened in my name. My friend helped me open a new account in a different bank as well. Many people also asked why I told people I had savings, and to that I say, I'm stupid. What happened was I had told my grandmother about it because I was sort of excited about standing on my own feet, but that seemed to backfire. Since then, I have stood my ground and have not given them any money. I did block my aunt as well, and I'm going to have minimal contact with my grandmother. I told them I had a car emergency and had to use the money, so I have nothing left to give, but I think they don't believe me. But overall, I will not be lending them any money, especially not from my savings. They deserve it for raising you? No, that's literally the bare minimum of parenting. They don't get a lifetime subscription to your bank account just because they managed not to leave you in a Walmart parking lot. Honestly, I love that you told them you had a car emergency. That's basically the polite version of, I'd rather set this money on fire and roast marshmallows over it than hand it to you. And your friend saying you went too far? Please, you didn't go far enough. Do you have a similar story? Share it with us. Up next, sometimes it's more like blood is sticky, messy, and somehow always wants to steal your stuff. Would I be the a-hole for telling my family they can take my brother in if they think that family should help family? Not going into minutia. People hate it when I talk too much. Can't be different written. Me, 37 male. It's me. Husband, 36 male. Accountant, love him to bits. Son, 13 male. Student, average kid who doesn't like my brother. I'm trying to learn anime for him. It's an uphill battle. Brother, 32 male. Not a member of the household. I wanted to stay that way. Situation. My brother got kicked out of my would-be sister-in-law's house. Reason? You don't talk crap to your buddies about a scary lawyer and expect her to never find out. The ask. Family wants me to take him in since we have an extra bedroom. We usually use it for my parents when they visit. Plus, our house is big. The problem. You give brother anything, you might as well say goodbye to it forever. Toys, clothes, money, you name it. You're only seeing it again if you sneak into his room and take it. The fear. The second he steps in, the only way he leaves is if I chase him out with the metal bat I found in the basement when I moved here. He doesn't have a job. I don't want another kid to take care of. One is quite enough, thank you very much. Also, every conversation he has with my son becomes an intervention. We said no. He is not getting a foot in. The bigger problem. Family says we should help my brother because he's family and family should help family. We are saying no still. They have not stopped. Question. Would I be the a-hole for sending family messages of, you think family should help family? I think it's a great idea. You should do it. And only ever saying that when they try to bring it up? Edit. Holy Johnson, this blew up. I talked to my husband and we wrote a modified version and sent that out on mass blast. We'll update y'all in a week or possibly later with the outcome. Am I the a-hole has no consensus bot, but OP was not the a-hole. But let's check some relevant comments anyway. Commenter 1. Dude's burnt his bridges and now he's got to face the music. Fam's there for support. Stick to your guns. You got a kid and a home to look after. If other families so hell-bent on helping, they can step the F up. But they'll turn a 180 real quick. Don't let them guilt trip you. You clearly got your priorities straight. The OP replies, think it'll burn bridges for me too? The next commenter says, do you care? The OP replies, kind of. I still love my family as they were the village that raised me and my brother and sister, but I really don't want to ruin my household's way of life or let him in just for appeasement. Baseball bat is on standby. A third commenter says, not the a-hole. You have zero obligation to other people's bad decisions. He's a grown freaking man, and if he hasn't learned to overcome adversity at his age, this is the perfect opportunity for a crash course. He cannot stay in your house. It would ruin whatever peace at home you have. The definition of family to the people you've posted about is codependent and unhealthy. The OP replies, it's what I'm worried about too. I can't live with someone who hates my own son. Protecting my peace from parasites comes first. Just worried I may set off a serious drama bomb. The next person says, whoa, hates your son? That's enough right there. The OP replies, hearing you guys made me think about it more. Why else would my bro have these conversations trying to change who my son is if bro actually loved his nephew? Another person chimes in, you have an early teen child in the house. Your brother is not the sort of daily influence and example you want in your home. Protect him and keep saying nope. The OP says, I can't subject him to that. It would be exhausting if I had to have an intervention every single day. One more person says, no, you're not. Why are you the first port of call and not anyone else's? The OP replies, I have the biggest house. I think everyone is assuming I'm the best fit. To which that commenter replies, would he be desperate enough to break in? And the OP responds, I sure hope not. I don't think his bones would survive a very fit, regular exercising man with a metal baseball bat. Update, 1 week later. Update for would I be the a-hole for telling my family they can take my brother in if they think family should help family. Preliminary address. Thank you for your time and advice, Reddit. Your advice and care for my son has been so lovely. Be ye genuine or be ye spectators awaiting the next chapter in an entertaining story. I appreciated it. Didn't tell husband and son. The statement. Husband helped me write this in a professional-ish way and contacted Joe's Nighthawk ex, who is a lawyer. Nighthawk hasn't officially taken a case, but we thought she would be able to help us write a serious-sounding letter by giving pointers and revising to add gravitas. For the sake of readability, I will give people fake names. I will use Smith for a fake family surname and Joe for my brother, just for readability. Lower your pitchforks, for I am not going to subject all of you to do the same letter we sent to our family group chat, but I will share the ending. If anyone feels strongly that Joe needs a place, our door is not the one to knock on, but yours absolutely could be. We fully support anyone in the family opening their home to him and showing how family support is done. We love you all, but we're not sacrificing our home stability to prove our loyalty. This is our final word on the matter. With love and boundaries, OP and family. If anyone wants the full letter, request it in the comments. I feel like I'm already pushing it with post length. The after effects. The communications assault ceased after 2 days of us turning it against them. No one has threatened to burn bridges or exclude us from family events. They tried to use the bad family card, but we just played it back at them, accusing them of being bad family. I underestimated how much people can just spam it. The second incident. We may have dodged a big bullet. I really don't like going on too long, but I don't know how to make this shorter without making it blander than unseasoned, unbuttered rice. Before this, we talked to the police, and thanks to my hubby's connections, they knew the situation in the event Joe broke in and tried to claim residency. We made it clear Joe is not a resident in any capacity, and we don't want him in the house unless we invite him. We are on a weekend trip to my in-laws' place, who are very much just the loving aunties and grandmas. They are non-drama people and respect boundaries. Yesterday, I get a call from my parents, saying Joe got into trouble with the police. Fortunately, he was not arrested, and he was not harmed. Apparently, he showed up at our house at night, and he tried to get us to let him in, but no one was around. But he tried harder. Neighbors called the cops because they didn't know who he was, and thought we were being robbed. Cops showed up, and I don't know everything, but my mom told me that the cops told her that he tried to claim residency, but that was false, and they knew. And then Joe told the cops he didn't have a home. The cops told my parents that either they could pick up Joe or they'd get a shelter and other services involved. Parents ended up having to drive to pick him up late at night, and now Joe is crashing on their couch. Other news. Joe's ex, Nighthawk, as I called her before on my past post, Bite Me It Works, and my husband are still friends, and says she's never taking Joe back to her nest. Joe might have lost a lover, but son doesn't lose an aunt. Son is doing okay. It's still an uphill battle to understand anime, but he likes the effort I put in. He said he was happy he didn't have to live with Joe. I didn't tell him about the concern you all showed for him, but I think that's fine. Probably safer this way. Conclusion. Family now has to put their money where their mouth is. Joe is fine. Our butts are covered. We're fine and safe. I'm sorry if this is too long. I tried to make it brief, but I couldn't. TLDR, we wrote a formal statement, sent it over, covered our butts. After a brief but calm altercation with the police, Joe is now with our parents. Additional information from OP, sharing the letter they sent to the Smith family. OP, I'll share. People of the Smith family, for anyone who hasn't heard it yet, Mr. Joe Smith asked us for a place to stay after a recent breakup with Miss Nighthawk. Members of our household have talked it over, and we came to the conclusion that Joe Smith would not make for a suitable tenant in our household. We understand some people believe family should help family, and we do not completely deny this statement. However, help does not always mean to allowing people to move in for an undefined amount of time. Given past history, which everyone reading this knows about, let's not pretend otherwise, the already strained relationship between Joe and certain household members, this was already tenuous. We also have a statement from Miss Nighthawk that Joe never was employed while living with her, and their arrangement was financially parasitic in nature. Based on the current state of Mr. Joe Smith's employment, we believe this will be no different for us. Hosting Mr. Joe Smith would not be healthy for anyone under our roof. If anyone feels strongly that Joe needs a place, our door is not the one to knock on, but yours absolutely could be. We fully support anyone in the family opening their home to him and showing how family support is done. We love you all, but we're not sacrificing our home stability to prove our loyalty. This is our final word on the matter. Much love, OP and family. The impression we're trying to give off is, we're so serious we're talking like officials. Now let's check with some relevant comments. First up, great resolution, well done. Bet you both breathed a sigh of relief. The OP replied, yes, we couldn't have hoped for better. No punched faces, no legal fees. The next commenter says, bravo for connecting with the police to head off your brother's BS claim that he lived there. The OP replies, Nighthawk's advice came in handy. The next one says, I have a few questions and issues here. All he did was talk about a scary lawyer? Why is that so horrible? Bro is a male 32 and ruins or never returns anything given to him. OP sneaks into Bro's room to retrieve anything when Bro 32 isn't home. Have I got that right? And they give male 32 toys still? Am I missing something? Why doesn't Bro 32 male have a job and his own place to live? What's wrong with Bro that prevents him from working and getting his own place? Even with questions, OP, you're not the a-hole. Yeah, Fam is the a-hole for demanding you take on this 32-year-old man-child. Stand firm. The OP responds to the questions. 1. The Nighthawk of a woman that my brother dated can be very terrifying at times, and my brother still thought it was a good idea to say insulting things behind her back to his friends. The Nighthawk found out, and it killed the respect she had for him. 2. I stopped giving bro anything after I snuck into his room when I was 14 to get back the Game Boy I gave to him to borrow. I found it with yogurt marks on the screen. Never again. Ever since I stopped giving him things, I have not needed to steal anything back. 3. He has told me every excuse in the book, from not liking people to not liking the job itself. I think he's lazy, but who knows? But still, thanks anyway. The OP goes on to clarify details on why Joe was kicked out by his ex and why he was breaking into OP's house. Joe was gossiping with his buddies and saying mean things about Nighthawk behind her back. I saw the texts from the screenshots. I won't repeat, but it was awful. Hence, that killed any trust Nighthawk had in Joe and the relationship. Though the second part about the break-in, I don't think Joe was trying to break in. My mom only told me so much, but apparently Joe's phone had died, and I think Joe thought someone was home, and thought making enough noise would get attention. We'll do a sweep of the outside when we get back, though. Another commenter chimes in, "How did a bad freaking Nighthawk end up with your brother?" The OP replies, "I don't know. Hearts are weird. Opposites attract? I have no idea. Love was love until it died for them." The next commenter says, "I want to ask what you are having difficulties with about anime. What anime does your son like? Maybe you can ask him why he likes it. Maybe you guys can look at videos about storytelling and art direction." The OP replies, "He likes how imaginative it is, I think, as well as how it looks. I'll admit, it looks really cool, but I can barely remember plot for crap." One more commenter says, "I do find anime has plot while other cartoons might have been one-offs. Perhaps you can read some summaries to see what the overall plotline is so you can place where you are in the episode." The OP responds, "Don't get me wrong. I'm amazed that there are people so creative out there. I probably couldn't conceive half of these ideas if I didn't do copious drugs, but I just feel myself unable to keep up sometimes. The closest thing I got to understanding an anime is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and all I got from that was first 2 parts were people punching with the power of the sun, and after that, it's something about unique spirit things giving special powers. Son says he likes the fights in that because every battle is like a puzzle, and when I asked him who the strongest was, he said no one, and that's why it's great. I barely know crap about the characters and spirit things, so I'm taking his word for it." Letting him move in would have destroyed your peace and put your kid in a harmful situation. Family should help family, but help doesn't mean sacrificing your stability or enabling someone who refuses to take responsibility for themselves. Thoughts? Thank you for joining us today in the rLounge. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Until next time. And please put your chair back where you found it.